So my official title is Visiting Instructor of Diversity and Inclusion, and I report through the Academic Affairs Office with a dotted line to the IDEI group. I teach in 4 programs. I teach in the MBA program, the Urban Ed program, School of Continuing Ed, and then starting last spring in the Global Studies. And then I'm also able to engage with faculty and programs and departments on campus who want to step into and examine some of their pedagogy, some of their curriculum, or just be more in tune to diversity, equity, and inclusion as a part of the collegiate experience. I worked a great deal with the elementary and special ed department last fall, where it was one-on-one coaching and work with each faculty member who had areas that they might want to improve or enhance or look at their pedagogy within the classroom. So it was one-on-one meetings, it was being in the classroom, it was suggestions for curricular ideas. So for example, with one group, we were talking about some of the challenges faced by English language learner students or multilingual students. So we actually had someone from the foreign languages department come in and talk to the students about the fact that not all languages are, in the same format of subject, verb, verb, object, and think about the challenges that poses. And so being able to grab resources from across the campus to help like that was great. Second example was the Dean Maxfield at the business school has been amazing. So she's actually created a diversity inclusion task force that is of alumni and faculty. And one of the things that we did was a curriculum audit this spring, was to actually look at case studies and textbooks and see what type of representation was in there. So it really runs the gamut based on what someone's needs are and what work they'd like to do. I would say overall, everyone has been very engaging, and part of it is because it's not as if I'm mandated on a particular group that you have to do this or you have to do that. So many of the departments or programs or faculty are reaching out to me as a resource. So I've found that faculty has been extremely receptive because it's a learning experience for all of us, right? Like I tell people that cultural competency isn't a destination, it's a journey. So even though I do this work, there are all types of things that I'm learning or still learning about. So I would say that the faculty has been extremely receptive. I think the other critical component of that is that we purposely housed me in academic affairs so that it was faculty talking to faculty. So the fact that I'm in the classroom gives credibility as I'm talking to other faculty, as opposed to a consultant or someone who's external and doesn't have the in-classroom experience. I think it was critical to have have this position also report to IDEI because that's the nature of the work. And Jackie Peterson and my colleagues and the team over there have been wonderful, and Jackie has really moved the work forward. So I think what I helped do, in addition to my colleague Saeed Mendoza, but what I help do is bring the faculty lens into some of the things that they are talking about, whether it's discussions about how are we going to plan to bring kind of these conversations around Black Lives Matter and racial unrest into the classroom. What can be some of those plans of resources that we can have on the IDEI website to help people who aren't necessarily comfortable. So I think I bring an additional lens, but also a faculty kind of focused lens on some of this. I really just feel like education and knowing history and a broader history would really be helpful, because you're seeing it play out in the country where people have no idea about, people think that we went from the Civil War to maybe Reconstruction to then the Civil Rights Movement, right? And it's like, and so they think there's only certain histories, or that Native Americans or Indigenous people were here with Roger Williams, they were there for a little while and then they're gone, right? And that's not true. And so we need to really find these educational resources that tell a more holistic picture and fill in the blanks so that people can see the causality of some of the things that we have in place today.